This is the blue worm bin. I think it's been about a month since I've last shown you this bin. Since then, obviously I'm feeding it every week, and I did put a layer of moist bedding on the top. I believe I fed in the center here. So let's check and see how they're doing. Actually, let me check in the center first, since that's where the food is, and I believe I fed them last week, so they may be congregated around the food. Not quite sure. If they've finished it, then they are elsewhere in the bin. You can see them crawling, not crawling, slithering, whatever you want to call it, moving around in the bin. It's kind of hard to spot them since they are pretty much the same color as the compost. It's a little teeny juvenile. All right, so they're not around the food. The food is pretty much gone from last week. So we won't be seeing a congregation of them all in one spot. Still working on the corn cob from I don't know how many months ago. There's one worm on there at least. Okay, let's just aerate this bin. There's another one. I don't see any large ones. I might have taken them all out to start another bin, but won't take long for the ones that are in here to become mature or very large. Since I had added some new moist bedding last week when I fed them, I'm hoping that'll give me more time before I need to harvest them. Kind of running out of bins here. But they're doing great work of composting. Whatever I throw at them, they seem to be making quick work of it, except of course the usual things like corn cob. All right. I was hoping I'd catch see some large ones for you. They're all smaller here. Hopefully you're seeing some as I'm turning over the bin. Moisture level is pretty good. The worms are spread out throughout. All right, so I'll go ahead and feed them up. Okay, let me make this straight here. I'll feed them in the center again. Oh, you can see all these worms. I don't know if you can, but I can. All right. Okay, let's see what's on the menu for these guys today. We have, make sure I have no babies on my gloves. We have a small mixture of a little bit of watermelon rind, coffee grounds, and in Spanish it's called verdolaga. Can't remember what it's called in English at the moment. But it grows kind of like a weed. If I remember what it's called, I will put it in the description below. But had an overgrowth of them in our garden. So what I did, I pulled them up before winter and froze them, cut them up and froze them. I didn't cut them up very fine. Took them out of the freezer recently, and been on my counter for about a week or so, which is how I've been feeding the food to my worms lately. I have a ton of food in my freezer, so I need to get rid of them quicker. And so that's one reason why I freeze them and then let it sit on my counter, so it's kind of pre-composted before they even get any food, so the worms can get at the food much quicker. So, which means they eat all the food more quickly that I feed them, so food doesn't last as long in my freezer. Food scraps. Can't see anything go to waste around here. Alright, so on the food I had put the usual worm chow, which does include diatomaceous earth as well as eggshell, among other things. Right now I'm, even though the bedding was moist, still, because I don't put a cover on them at the moment, I'm putting water on them. Water contains mosquito dunks, so that also helps keep any fungal gnats, any kind of other bugs at a minimum. And that's the worm bin at the moment, the blue worm bin. And thank you for coming on this journey with me.